Investor alert. I've got a great interview today, a couple that founded a really, really interesting franchise, and they're going to talk about their story. You're not going to want to miss this.
This is the Franchise Pitfalls and Profit Show. Each week, we bring you the challenges and triumphs of being in the franchise development and consulting business. The things you need to make money faster. And now your host, one of the most successful franchise developers in North America, Don Shin.
Hey, I'm excited to have entrepreneurs, global executives, Gracie and David Neidell on the program to share your story. Thanks for spending a couple minutes with us.
Hi, Don.
Hi, Don.
Hello from Amsterdam.
Thanks
There we go. I love it. Yeah, I never know where I'm going to catch you guys, if it's Australia or Amsterdam or California. So, hey, I'm really, really excited. Just to give my audience a little bit of a heads up. We all met connected within the last 6 months. We met out at the IFA convention. You guys drove all the way over to Vegas from California. We had a great evening, talked about the opportunity, talked about your business and where you guys are, and just excited about working with you on this opportunity. So what I wanted to do is really just kind of dive in, little bit of an introduction. If you guys would feel free to introduce yourselves just a little bit, talk a little bit about your story, if you would. And then, of course, I'm always going to ask you some questions. So if you don't mind, just give the audience a little bit of a background, if you would, and then we'll get into the deeper part of the show.
We will. Okay. Well, so I'm Gracie Neidell, born and raised in Amsterdam since the past 50 years. I can't believe it.
You're not
Anyway, the story, Don, the story of the Grace Galleries goes back a long way. Like, it goes back for over 10 years. So I will try to condense everything in a 90-second version for you. Okay?
Sure.
Well, so over the course of a decade, I had collected like 257, to be exact, paintings from 5 different continents, like artworks all over the world, where my husband David and I were living at the time. So we moved around quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, very beautiful, very rare, extremely large pieces of artwork. So pretty valuable, at least to me. And then in 2019, late 2019, we moved to California. And on Valentine's Day 2020, I signed a 3-year lease to open up my own gallery in Laguna Beach.
You remember, though, on the drive over there, we got rear-ended.
We got in an accident.
Oh no!
The lease. That was foretelling of what was to come in the next 2 months.
Well, I was going to say, and that date, everybody ding 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 ding. Everybody's bells go off when they hear February, March, April of 2020. So not to interrupt you, but yeah.
No, that definitely was an omen, because we all know what hit us after this Valentine's Day, for sure. So here I was, like with a 3-year lease in the middle of the world's biggest catastrophe, economically, socially. So I looked at David and I was like, now what?
Yeah. And so you proceeded anyway. You decided to take the entrepreneurial risk and dive in, and you built out the gallery and started your business.
Yes. Well, actually, right away, I decided, let's open up the gallery. I mean, it might seem a little unorthodox, and it was very questioned at the time. But, I felt like art needs to be shared, and there was no travel possible whatsoever anymore. So I still wanted people to feel that we were all connected, and that they still had the world at their fingertips.
Yep. And I really love your passion about this. When
Thank
I obviously we've talked, and when I continue to prepare information and read your bios and your stories, it was like you had a real passion to bring art to the people, to the populace, and as well as then extend that into the next thought process, which was, hey, let's maybe turn this business into a franchise to help other people join in your passion for art, as well as them become entrepreneurs. And yeah, I thought that was great. So tell us a little bit about that, that transition and that vision. How did that all happen?
Sure. So that's a big jump, but we'll do that for sure. So 14 months in to owning my own gallery, I actually sold my entire art collection, my private collection, to another art collector, so a fellow art collector, and so although lightning struck me then during COVID. I just actually realized that about half of my audience were artists looking for a space to display their own art, and couldn't afford it, did not have a place. And actually, this is when I decided to divide up, like subdivide all the wall space that I had. And actually, much like a hair salon model, or a shared office space model,
Yep.
I decided to re-rent the walls to
Wow.
artists.
Wow. Because you
Yes,
had you had a remaining lease on right. You
yes,
had lease time. You said 3-year lease. You were 14 or 15 months in.
No art.
and no art
No
on the
art.
And
wall.
no,
Yeah.
that's right.
I
So
needed a plan, right?
yeah, and I that's what I just love about true entrepreneurs like the two of you are. That old kind of stupid, when you get lemons, you make lemonade. I mean, but I think the reality was true entrepreneurs look at situations, they see opportunities that other people just don't see. And you saw the opportunity. You had wall space. You, as David just said, you had no art to sell, and you're an art gallery with no art to sell. So I think that's
Exactly.
that's
Exactly.
brilliant. I think that's brilliant. So what was some of your bigger challenges? When you look back at making that transition, what were some of the biggest challenges? Because a lot of our audience are people that possibly want to turn their business into a franchise. As you know, we have buyers of franchises that join us. We have franchise consultants. So what were any of the challenges that you remember from some of those earlier days?
Well, I mean, besides starting a business in a pandemic, I'm sure you mean.
Yeah. Duh.
Well, honestly, kind of dealing with the legality, as you will, of the franchise of the business in registration states.
Mhm,
Uh,
mhm.
that was kind of a challenge. I mean, it was not entirely anticipated by us.
Yeah.
How much time, how much
Time and money.
costs
Yeah. Time
are
and money.
involved with that. So obviously, we never franchised before, so
Mhm,
that was not really expected.
mhm.
Uh, but looking back, and now that that's all done,
Wasn't that bad?
well, it was bad, but I would say that we used the time wisely to write a close to perfect operations manual,
Yeah.
and that's also a very important aspect of the system. So Yeah, looking back, everything turned out fine, but that was a challenge to answer your question. Yes.
Yeah. I'm not picking on California, but there are a half a dozen states in the United States that are, as you said, well, there's more than that. There's like 15 registration states across the U.S., but 15, 16.
Correct.
But there's 5 or half a dozen or so that are really, really severe, and so opening in them would it compounds your challenges of turning your business into a franchise. And California happens to be, one of those pretty tough states. But the upside is, if you can get registered in California, you're not going to have a problem anywhere else. I mean, that's pretty much the reality. There's so many states that just follow California anyway. So so that's great. So give us, so you ran it for several years or a couple of years. Tell us some of the highlights. Again, we talked about your vision, bringing art to people. Tell us, some of the highlights. So we're done with the bad stuff. Tell us some of the highlights.
Well,
we've done the lowlights.
I find it really hard to talk about my own successes. So
She could have deferred to her husband.
I'm going to go.
Yeah, there we go.
It's funny. There's a lot of things that I was really proud of her about. I mean, the first was, almost immediately she was featured on the cover of an Orange County magazine as a stylish gallery owner, and then she was named to an Orange County Success Story series. And then shortly thereafter, the Grace Galleries was amongst the running of the most, I should say, the best galleries in Laguna Beach. So those kind of happened back to back really fast, and it was really nice to validate what she was doing. And Dawn, Gracie said earlier, she said, almost half the people that came in were artists, and without fail, everyone who came into that gallery when we were working there said, "Hey, this gallery is different. It's got a vibe. It's got an atmosphere. You guys are so welcoming." Especially the artists, they would go to other galleries and they would feel like they were trying to be almost put down by the people working there, the gallery owners, or looked down upon. Whereas we said, "Yeah, come on in and let's talk and let's see what you like and sit there and love the art and spend the time there." So, we got a lot of that.
David, your background, we didn't get him up a lot, but you come from an global executive, I hate to say corporate background, but a larger company background, correct? So you brought that business acumen and experience into the business, right?
Yeah, a bit. And we had, I've got quite a bit of experience with selling to franchises. So I'd never franchised anything before, but I had quite a bit of experience selling to franchisees and franchisors as well. So we were able to lean on that a little bit. But, in the end, I think the probably the biggest thing, Dawn, to go back to your question, was just the sharing with the people and giving people the opportunity to succeed is, what Gracie and I feel proud about as what we did with the gallery. Because at first it was the artists and giving them a chance to have a home away from home and a studio away from their studio and a place where they can work and be recognized and have a different environment. And now, of course, that we're in the franchise mode, it's okay. Now we've added entrepreneurs to the mix. So, now we're giving people a chance to go and make money with the
which is brilliant. And I think that's at the heart of anybody that organizes and creates a franchisor, concept. I think that's absolutely it. I was at where we met. I was at IFA, and one of the keynotes was the CEO of McDonald's, and he said that franchising is like the on-ramp to the entrepreneurial journey and to generational wealth. And man, you guys are at the threshold of that, which is awesome. Yeah, which is really, really awesome. So where was the spark? How did all of a sudden You've got wall space. You're brilliant. You come up with this idea to rent wall space. Where was the idea? How the idea of franchising pop into your heads, or how did that come about?
Well, like subdividing these walls, like how I said before, like a hair salon model or like a shared office space model. Um, And I actually want to tell you, besides wall rent, I did require all the artists to represent themselves
Yeah.
at the gallery, like using the space. But with all them taking shifts, the gallery was always open. We had a commission structure, and we had this is how the business model started. So there was a business model at this tiny gallery that I owned, and I figured, because I got some interest from Europe actually to purchase the gallery, I figured, if I sell this now flagship store, that would give me an opportunity to franchise this model.
Yep.
In the art space. So actually, as a unique thing in the art industry.
Yep.
So this is how that came about, and I would be able to give more artists and even entrepreneurs like myself the opportunity to share in the success of the Grace Galleries.
And
So,
you
so
know,
I, go ahead,
sorry,
Dave. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, with the franchising, of course, once you have the model down, as long as someone follows the playbook, it's pretty easy to replicate, and that's the whole idea behind it. And that's what Gracie had figured out is, hey, this works.
Yeah,
It works
yeah.
pretty well.
So you've blended, which is really, really cool. And I want to transition into the opportunity that's really here now. So you blended this uniqueness about art in franchising, but you blended it with a really traditional, proven model of salons renting space or shared office space, which I think is brilliant. It's blending, it's merging something revolutionary, really out there, leading edge, bring art in a new way, bring it to the world in a new way through franchising. But let's do it with a solid, proven system or model. Again, using the salon rental space and the shared office space concept. So now you've organized everything. So let's transition to where we are today, how we met. You all are interested in selling the model, the concept, the franchisor piece of the business, so to speak. So tell us a little bit about how that happened. What's going on in your executive and entrepreneurial lives that's got us to this point.
That's a really good question.
Everything is moving so fast
Yeah.
all the time.
We've invested, a lot of money, as anyone who's a franchisor knows, and probably 18 months now, maybe more, into the concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About.
But Gracie has also developed a fragrance, a perfume, and it's really cool. And she's spending an awful lot of time on that, promoting it in a lot of different places and a lot of different venues and a lot of different ways. And it smells really good. Well, the scent of art, actually.
I love that. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing, and she's going to do a really good job with that. But I got to be honest, it takes a lot of her time. And when I see her,
if you're in the same country, right?
So,
Together.
I guess you could call us executive vagabonds, huh?
Yeah.
Something like that. But, so she's focused primarily on promoting the fragrance now, and I'm focused on some other businesses that I have, and it takes focus for someone to spend time on it, and we feel like right now it's at the point where someone who has the expertise and maybe even the foundation. So maybe someone who's already franchising another business or another brand, or someone who's a multi-unit operator, it's the perfect opportunity for them to come and take it to the next level because they're ready to go. Whereas we've got a lot of good experience, but we haven't been out there selling franchises or running, 20 different locations or anything like that. So we just feel like it's the opportune time. What's that, babe?
I said everything is done.
Yeah, everything's
Like,
done.
everything is done. We went through the whole process of legalizing, FDD, ops manual, all that. So, honestly, I'm all over the place. I'm just traveling for this perfume, which I'm enjoying a lot. But it just means that, we think that there are more like experienced people in this space that can take the Grace Galleries to the next level.
Much faster, much faster than
Yes.
we can. And
we would like that.
we'd love to, we would love to be there and in some way help its success and help another entrepreneur to take it and run with it. Or, if it's a corporate, then that's fine too. But it's, I think we're registered now in 42 states, including the difficult ones. So all the difficult ones are done: Florida, New York, California, Michigan. Those we made sure that we got up front. So now the other states are just a matter of filing the paperwork for someone who wants it because they're all ready to go.
And it's interesting that some of the hardest, these registration states are, many of them are the largest population states, which, so it's always that push and pull, that dynamic in franchising of, hey, I want to be in those markets, because there's so many people there, but it's so hard to get approved in those markets. So you've done the hard work. You've done the leg work, and you're also, because it's your baby in a sense, you want to see it successful. So you're gonna assist in any transition. But for any of my investor type viewers or as you said, David, multi-unit owners who want to go to the next level, but they don't want to go through the 18 months, 2 years of pain of getting it all done. You've done all that legwork, and right now you're giving folks the opportunity to invest and acquire the franchisor concept.
Right. And we were watching a podcast the other day, or a video cast, I guess you'd call it. And we kind of looked at each other and we thought, wow, we have some massive benefits here that with the franchise, that a lot of them, according to what we were watching, they were really looking for, but it's hard to find. I mean, for example, we have a super low cost of entry, including the build out. I mean, on the gallery, we did almost the whole build out ourselves. It's really quite simple, and the ops manual takes people right through how to do it. It's not capital intensive at all, Don.
Right.
There's, when we were watching this, the gentleman said, yeah, you know what, if we can get a 4-year payback, cash on cash, we feel pretty good. And we looked at each other and said, if it takes someone longer than 24 months in our franchise, it's a problem. I mean, it should pay back within 2 years, easy.
Yeah.
There's
knowing that you're not making any guarantees or
yeah, of course.
but no, I know what you're saying.
You've been through the math with us, and the math
I have, yeah.
And you're doing what they're doing in the hair salon model or the office space model, but your capital investment is so much less because of the way the franchise functions and the way the build out goes. You have no inventory to purchase. So there's no inventory. Remember, you've got no employees.
Yep, I love that.
Okay.
I love that.
I mean, you can kind of work from where you want, when you want, how you want. There's no competition in the space. As far as in the art space, there's absolutely no competition. There's no one in the world doing this. And you can be an absentee or semi-absentee owner. And, especially with guys who, the math really, as you've seen, it really makes sense when you start saying, okay, I've got 5 franchises or 8 franchises. All of a sudden, it's like a franchise should be. You follow the model and you do a pretty good job printing money.
Yep. So someone today, what we're really getting at, and I'm your broker, your representative to help folks through the acquisition process. And what we're really looking at is someone that wants to be a franchisor and or wants to add a brand. want in on the ground floor and something that they can do right away. So what you're describing are the things that would make it easy to sell and bring on unit owners or multi-unit owners as well. So
correct.
I think that's awesome. Yeah, I think that's awesome.
Brand is ready to take off. I mean, it already took off on a smaller scale, but it's really ready to take off on a bigger scale. And yeah, I'm really hoping that, our target audience are, well, there's no competition. Like David said, there's no competition. Like anywhere where there's like an art loving community, there is a space for the Grace Galleries.
Yeah,
and
I just think it's just a great opportunity to blend, to really be leading edge in a new space and the true entrepreneurial, but on the foundation of franchising and on the foundation of a franchise model that works, the shared space, the space acquired for those smaller entrepreneurs. So all right, awesome. And and I did prepare you for this one. Last question is always, is there anything else about anything, about the opportunity, about your stories, about why you did what you did? Anything else that you want to share that I haven't asked you about?
I don't think so. But what I would say is it all comes down to, the whole concept with Gracie started with sharing. She wanted to share the art with people. She wanted to share the space with artists. She wanted to share the opportunity with artists. And it came at a really difficult time in the world, but it was the perfect thing for the time. And now it's time to share it with other entrepreneurs. And we really feel like people can do well, and someone's going to be able to make a lot of money with our concept. And it's going to help a lot of franchisees as well.
And artists.
Yeah, and artists.
The art. So it's like a mission to me. But yes, it's also like financially
happens to be lucrative financially.
Financially very lucrative. Yes.
Yep. You have so many people that we're going to have the opportunity, the buyer of the art, the artist, to help artists succeed. And then maybe your more classic business entrepreneurial type people that want to own their own business. So I love it. Thanks so much for investing some time with me. And anyone that is interested in this opportunity, you know how to get me. Thanks.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you, Don. Thanks for having us.